Indecision just means you're all over the place with your thoughts, so nothing's focused enough that it has any strong momentum. That is the perfect way to say it. When we say, if you're indecisive, it's because you're not focused enough in one direction. That's one way of saying it. But what is the same thing as saying you're not focused enough in one direction? What's another way of saying that? You're focusing in opposite directions. So it's diffusing your focus. So if you just do the later gator, I'm just not going to think about this, withdraw your thoughts from the unwanted. Just that really is the power. When you are deactivating thought, not just resistant thought, but thought, what happens is your vibration raises. So the way you get clear about what you want is by no longer offering the contradictory. If you're saying, I want this, but, or I really want to have more money, and it's really miserable not having enough money, what happens is you keep both of those things active. So what could be sharp and focused about financial abundance is diffused with your attention toward lack of abundance. And if you would just stop doing the lack part, this part, the abundance part, would naturally become more dominant. We would like to say this to you. Indecision, if you don't act when you feel indecisive, that is an asset. Because to act in indecision is to say yes to contradicted energy. So it's much better to wait until you feel clarity and a real urge, a real inspired urge to act before you do. That's what we mean when we say get into the vortex and then. Stop trying to make clarity out of chaos and stop thinking about it, because the more you think about it, the worse it's getting. You're just getting more frustrated and more confused. Stop thinking about it and trust that the decisions are made. Your inner being knows what to do. So this is the time for you to go to the beach. This is the time for you to massage your feet. This is the time for you to listen to the meditation CD or some music that you love. This is the time for you to deactivate. Deactivate. You see, consider this. If you deactivate the resistant thought, then the thought of what is wanted will become dominant. So by saying, there's too much confusion right now, there's too much chaos right now, trying to figure this out from where I stand isn't working, I'm just going to let it go. I'm just going to let it go and trust that the universe is working it out. And when I feel inspired, then I will act. And if you will say yourself to that every time you feel indecision, more and more you'll feel an impulse to act. So you've just got to leave the I'm so confused part out. Just stop saying it. Stop keeping active the I'm not clear part, and start making more active the well, all right, I can accept that it's in my vortex, and I'm sure that my inner being is clear about it, and I don't have to do anything this red hot minute, and I've been doing just fine, and my life is going quite well, and I'm getting the handle on this, and I'm feeling better and better all the time, and things are working out for me, and things are getting clear, and I don't want to act on something until it's really clear, and I like law of attraction to do the work, and I believe that law of attraction has already gathered the cooperative components, and I like the idea of being one of those cooperative components, and I like the idea of popping into my vortex every now and again and getting in sync with it so that I can see. And I know that unless I'm in the vortex, I'm not going to get the impulse to act. And I can see that what I've been doing is standing outside my vortex trying to make the right decision. And now I realize that I can't make the right decision from outside the vortex, so I just got to get in there. And I can't talk my way in by talking about what's not working. I can only talk my way in by talking about what is working, by being hopeful, by being optimistic, or by just saying this isn't the time because what's active in my vibration right now has got me on a whole stream of thoughts and conversation that aren't helping me. So later, Gator, not going to think about this, not right here, not right now, not going to do it now. Deactivate. I'm going to deconstruct the thought. I'm going to deconstruct the negative thought that is preventing me from the positive one. I'm going to deconstruct the out of the vortex thought that's keeping me from inside the vortex. We want to put it into perspective. Action from outside the vortex is always counterproductive. So you might want to say, I love action, but I want to be inspired to action from inside the vortex. And you're going to have those moments. You're going to have some of those that aren't like that, and you're going to have some of those that are. When you have one of those moments, stop and accentuate What factors were present in your life? In other words, when you have an in the vortex moment, that's when you want to contemplate it, to identify it, to think about it, to try to feel the resonance of it, to be descriptive about it. In other words, you can say things such as, well, I just woke up feeling good, and I've just been feeling good all morning, and the whole day has just been going really well, and I don't think I've even had a negative thought today. And this is the manifestation of true alignment, and this I love. But on a moment when it's not happening, later gator. Don't have the conversation, don't try to fix it, don't ask what's wrong, don't worry about what's wrong. Pull as quickly as you can away from any thought that's giving you the feeling of frustration. There are a lot of people that say, well, I can't stop feeding my kids, and I can't stop washing the dishes, and I can't stop going to work just because it doesn't feel good. And we say, well, really, you can. You can. You could take a little respite from it and go off and get yourself tuned back in. But really, what we're really emphasizing here is that there are all kinds of vibrational possibilities. You just want to make better choices about the thought which produces the emotion before you take the action. Because you came here with this active creative mind, meaning to focus it. And when you meditate, you quiet your mind, which means you defocus your mind. And when you defocus your conscious mind, what happens is the natural vibration, the vibration of your vortex, the vibration of your inner being, becomes dominant and summons you upward into that vibration. When you practice affirming what you want from inside the vortex, you shorten that, you're in the vortex, so that range is already shorter. It's already between love and joy and appreciation and all of that. As you affirm from there, or paint from there, or sing from there, or run on the beach from there, or make love from there, or romp and play with somebody you love, as you do anything that affirms feeling good, what happens is you practice that vibration longer until it becomes a stronger part of who you are, and makes it less likely for you ever to move into those other ranges, or when you do, to move back quickly, you see. We want you to do 100% of your efforting from inside the vortex, except those words don't even go together well, because when you're in the vortex, it doesn't require effort. It's not your effort. It's the universal law of attraction effort. It's effortless. It's not trying so hard. It's surrendering to what you want and to who you are and to the power of the universe that creates all things with you, you see. Ease and flow and love and joy. And you know that. When you're in that mode, it just flows through you. The idea flows through you. It's like your entire body is part of the idea. You deliver it in ways that surprise even you. So you want this to be the discovery of who you are experience. So often, and this really speaks to it here, when people are creating, like, I'm an artist, so I want to take my talent and I want to paint it onto the canvas. And we say, oh, it isn't that way at all. It is that the vortex version of all of this is already there. And now you're channeling, you're allowing the vortex version of it to flow through you, which means you have to be a conduit through which it can flow, you see. And then often people think, when they think in terms of making music or writing books or making some beautiful art piece, they think that what they're really doing is creating the piece that will stand by itself. And we say, not at all. What you're creating is the moment of the flow. The true art is the feeling of flow for you. That's what you're reaching for. You're not trying to create a perfect painting so you just start over again and start over again. It's the moment of connection that this is all about for you. You are the creator of a perfect moment in which you get to have the experience of source flowing through you, and you get to see right before your eyes this revelation. And what is it a revelation of? It's a revelation of your alignment, you see. So often the artist, the musician, describes the moment of being on the stage as the moment that life is best, because that's the creative moment. That's the moment where source is revealing itself. Not just to the audience, but to the creator in the moment, you see. You can't necessarily see it or hear it or smell it or taste it or touch it, but you're feeling it. That's the way, by having little respites where you do that, you're tuning yourself to that frequency. Abundance of all things wanted. Abundance of clarity. Abundance of eagerness. Abundance of vitality. Abundance of a feeling of well-being. Abundance of love. Abundance of appreciation. Abundance of dollars. Abundance of the means to do whatever you want. Abundance of people who are uplifted by you. Abundance of people who are uplifters to you. Abundance of all things wanted. Abundance of music. Abundance of good feelings in your body. Abundance of ideas. Abundance of eagerness, abundance of life flowing through you, abundance of paintings, abundance of ideas, abundance of new technology, abundance of new people discovering your brilliance. There is no ending to the abundance that flows. Once you get hold of it and you're wise enough to just keep it mostly active within you, there's no ending to it. Life will show it to you, but you will feel it before you see it. Get yourself in that deactivated of resistance place. And it is our promise to you that inspiration will begin to flow. And when you get an impulse about something, follow it out. Follow it and see where it leads. Because it will lead, the impulse will lead as far as you are vibrationally prepared to allow it to lead. And if you keep following that process where you just keep following the impulse, before you know it, you'll begin to gain momentum on your way to something that you're really eagerly involved in. The impulse will lead to another impulse and another and another. Haven't you noticed that? Haven't you noticed that you'll find an idea, and the idea feels sort of interesting, and as you ponder it more, it gains a little momentum, and before you know it, something shows up in your experience. What we are getting at here, anything you give your attention to, you become a cooperative component. And the universe through the path of least resistance. Do you see what we're getting at? In other words, nothing is accidental. Nothing is coincidental. Every creation, every co-creation is a rendezvous. And whatever is active in your vibration, the universal manager will make sure that it's there for you. And so this is the thing that we want, this is really the point that we want to make with all of this. When you've taken the time to deliberately activate something in your vibration, and then it appears in some form or fashion, and you associate its appearance with your activation, now you're off and running, and there is literally nothing that you cannot accomplish. Once you make that conscious connection, that I thought about it, and I thought about it from a place of pure alignment, and now the universe is yielding to me evidence of that alignment. That is the best orchestration and conscious utilization of the universal manager that could ever be. You have to understand that you're fresh and new. Your vibrational shift has happened significantly enough that your point of attraction is unlike anything that has ever been before. So anticipating future experiences based upon past experience is really a silly thing to do, because your vibration isn't where it was in the past when you created that. It's shifted dramatically. And so everything is up for grabs. It's all open-ended. It's all wonderful stuff that is potentially there for you, you see. And nothing that I have believed before need be a factor in my current vibration if I stop repeating the stuff I've believed before that I know doesn't work for me. And that's what the deactivation of thought is. We've been playing with you about this for a long time. I'm going to stop thinking about that thing I'm thinking about. While you're saying you're not going to think about it, you're still thinking about it. So it's still active in your vibration. And so we've been saying there's no exclusion. You can't really deactivate a thought. What you can do is activate another. But we want you to think about, in other words, if I'm thinking this instead of this, then I'm not thinking that. So what I'm not thinking isn't active, and what I am thinking is active. We want you to begin thinking in terms of leaning in the direction of what you want, and the consequence of that will be a deactivation, a no longer activation of things that have been holding you back. And when there's nothing holding you back, you want to get up, you want to move, you want to look, you want to see, you want to talk, you want to play, you want to flow, you want to walk, you want to be, you want to do, you want to interact, you want to create, you want to paint, you want to sing, you want to be alive, you want to move, you want to feel, you want to create, you want to express who you are, you want to uplift, you want to play, you want to romp, you see. Not a care in the world, just move into the music and all is well.